Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang. Welcome to this broadcast, and the subject is, can you really reverse diabetes? Can you really reverse diabetes? And the reason I'm asking that question is that a lot of people don't believe it's possible. So a sort of a second question is, what does it really mean to reverse diabetes? What are all the things that are happening if you reverse diabetes? So I'd like to tell you a story about a patient that I've been seeing for a few months now. And this patient is a kind of a typical example of what I see on a regular basis in my office. And so I want to give you hope that you really can reverse diabetes. And if you're not quite successful in doing that, you can achieve a lot of these other things that I'm going to talk about when I answer the question of what does it really mean to reverse diabetes. So this particular patient was diagnosed earlier this year because of being admitted to the hospital because of some symptoms she was having that were worrisome for a possible stroke. And it turned out that she didn't have a stroke, but in the process of the evaluation, she had high blood pressure, blood sugar was found to be quite elevated, and she was having these strange symptoms. And so at the time that she was discharged from the hospital, she was on medicine for statin drug. She was on medicine, a statin drug for cholesterol. She was on a blood pressure medicine, and she was on a diabetes medicine. And she'd been sent to the diabetic clinic to learn the usual ADA diet. Well, before she went to the ADA diet, she ended up coming to see me first. And so we talked about an alternative to the typical ADA diet, which is a strategy that I've been using for some years now. And so I want to show you all of the things that actually, what it really does mean when we talk about reversing diabetes. The first thing is that the blood sugar, that A1C, it does drop a lot. Obviously, if we're reversing diabetes, it's dropping into normal range. But the second thing that happens is a big drop in the blood pressure in most cases. The third thing that happens is a big drop in the weight. And the fourth thing that happens when patients follow my complete program is a big jump in energy. And so that's what it means to reverse diabetes. It doesn't just mean that your blood sugars come down to normal. All of these other things happen too, and I explain why that is in other videos that are a lot more detailed that you can find about the whole concept of reversing diabetes. And you're welcome to look into that in more detail. This is just meant to be a brief reminder of all the things that can happen in a positive way, just reviewing in a few minutes. So let's look at what happened with this patient. She went from an A1C of 8.3 to 5.9 in 4 months. Now, if you did that with medicine, that would be considered a pretty dramatic improvement. She did it with lifestyle, and she did it with the lifestyle strategies that are part of our program. So the second thing that happened with her is a blood pressure drop. She started with a blood pressure of 168 over 106. And in just a few months, she's now down to 128 over 70. And this kind of a drop is without medication. In fact, she was started on a medicine in the hospital, but she was able to stop her medicine 3 months ago. And so the blood pressure, that 128 over 70, is something that she had when I saw her today, off of her blood pressure medicine now for 3 months, and feeling quite well without it. The third thing is about her weight. So her weight dropped 44 pounds in 7 months. Now, some people can see a lot more rapid weight loss than that, but this is about average. And so 44 pounds in 7 months, that's not too shabby, considering that she's just following a simple strategy that doesn't require any medication. She's not doing an advanced exercise program. She's elderly, so she's already deconditioned. She hadn't been exercising for years before she got sick. And the fourth thing that I mentioned of that list of the four benefits or the four characteristics of reversing diabetes is that her energy is through the roof. Her energy is through the roof. Now, how many people do you know that as they get older, they say that they don't have any energy? Perhaps you say, I don't have any energy. Well, the same program that I use to reverse diabetes can be used for anybody, and it'll give you a significant boost in energy, a huge boost in energy. And as in her words, her energy is through the roof. And she just looks better and better every time that I see her. And this is, again, typical of this program. It's nothing magical that I'm doing. This is what the body is wired to do if you let it do it. If we turn on the body's self-healing properties, it heals itself. So what are parts of this plan that that we want to be able to focus on with this strategy? The first thing is that we start with a low glycemic diet. That's a simple strategy where you avoid foods that raise the blood sugar quickly. So there are a variety of different ways to do the low glycemic diet. I have something that's called the modified plate. The ketogenic diet can be used. The paleo diet can be used, although it's not as easy to do as my modified plate program. But anyway, low glycemic eating in a way where the blood sugar doesn't rise rapidly is critical. That's foundational. The second thing is gut health. You have to eat in a way that restores your gut. Now, that's kind of embedded in the low glycemic eating strategy, in that you're avoiding a lot of the foods that damage the gut, especially the grain-based foods. But there are positive things that you can do that improve gut health even more. And the healthier your gut is, the healthier your GI tract is functioning, the more likely you are to move to a place of reversing diabetes. The third thing that's part of this strategy is advanced nutritional supplementation. Now, some of my patients choose to do that. Some of them don't. This patient chose to do that, and that's why she can say that her energy is through the roof, because that's what happens when you wed advanced nutritional supplementation to these other lifestyle strategies. People feel huge boosts in energy, not just a little bit better. They generally feel a whole lot more energy. And then the fourth thing that is part of this whole picture is decreasing stress. Now, everybody has different ways that they use to decrease stress, but you have to focus on decreasing stress if you want to decrease the blood sugar back to normal or reverse diabetes. So the strategy that I use in all of my patient care when the patient is open to it, is what I call a whole person health approach. Physical, emotional, and spiritual health are the three parts of us. And the more we integrate these parts of us into the wellness strategy, the higher the chance that we are going to get well, because this is the way that you decrease stress. And stress is the big factor that impairs getting better for lots of different reasons that, again, I'm not getting into because this is a short video. And so for this patient, her main way of decreasing stress is down here in the spiritual. She's has a very significant prayer life, and that is a stress-reducing activity for her. There are other things that can be done that are complementary to that. But the idea that I want to share with you is that decreasing stress is critical. If you decrease stress in a whole person health approach, then it's even more effective. So in summary, reversing diabetes doesn't just mean getting the blood sugar into a good range. Yes, that's obviously part of it, but the other things that typically happen most of the time is the blood pressure drops a lot, the weight drops a lot, and energy goes through the roof. So the last thing I want to point out as a benefit for this patient, and likely benefit for somebody that goes through the whole process, is a dramatic drop in the medicines that are needed. Now, in this person's case, she's off of 3 medicines that she was taking in February. We're talking about medicines that she would have taken the rest of her life. And if she would have followed the usual diabetic strategies, she would have gradually added medicines over the years to help to control her blood sugar. Instead, she's off of all medicine. And that's a possibility for anybody that starts this kind of a program and follows it fairly carefully. You can't cheat on it and expect the body to fix itself. You have to let the body fix itself. You have to do the things nutritionally that turn on the self-fixing strategies. And I'd like to give you some resources that can help you on your way if you're interested in any of these things. If any of these 4 things are a goal that you'd like to have, better blood sugar, better blood pressure, better weight, and more energy, then I'd like to give you a free book that is called Why Am I Still Fat? And even if you're not fat, it'll still help you. But Why Am I Still Fat is a free book that gives you a lot of information on this stuff that I've just been touching on. And you can get that by clicking on the link either below this video or beside the video or maybe on the video, depending on where you're seeing it. And I hope it helps you. And I wish you well on your journey to health. And I suggest again that your journey be a whole person health or a holistic journey. God bless and have a great day.